Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Hammer. Today is Tuesday, September 17th, 2024. I, of course, no, I'm not Originator Success. I'm Hammer with Originator Success. Here with your daily mortgage rate update, coming to you back in the Smoky Mountains. Calling it home, baby. And it is smoky this morning. It is wet and foggy out there, but I'll take it. Coming back from Kentucky, we went and checked out the Bourbon Trail and stayed in a Bourbon Barrel. Had a good time with my wife for her birthday. So anyway, today is Tuesday, September 17th. If you're here this morning, say good morning. Remember, you can join me live each and every day, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. This isn't just a pre-recorded video. This is a fun show where we talk about what's going on with rates and pricing in the markets and all that good stuff. We broadcast to you on Facebook and on YouTube. However, if you can't make it live and you do catch the replay, don't forget to give me a hashtag replay in the comments and let me know that you were here. You can also jump ahead if you want to get to the good stuff if you're watching on the replay and you don't want to go through all of that. But for all of my live friends, I love that I have you here in the mornings. Whether you're here live or on the replay, don't forget to smash that like button, tag an LO friend, share us in a group. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, give us a thumbs up and all that good stuff. Also, I've got a few cool things for you. Remember, you can sign up and get a free email to your inbox each and every weekday morning. Every weekday, I write an email about what's going on with rates and pricing and whether you want to lock or float. Use it, take it, share it, do whatever you want with it. It's yours. It's my gift to you. I have been asked why I don't charge for my newsletter because I could, but I don't because it's something that I think originators need to be armed with. So anyway, that is for you. Check it out. It is free. However, we roll in the big dollars on our $7 text alerts. That's right, $7. I could triple the price on those tomorrow and we wouldn't lose a single subscriber. Here again, you need just a cheap solution out there to let you know what's going on with rates and pricing. Sign up today. You're going to definitely want it for tomorrow with the Fed meeting. We'll be texting like teenagers tomorrow, baby. But we'll talk more about that tomorrow. Anyway, you can sign up for those at www.ratetextalerts.com. If you'd like to be reminded that I'm going live each morning because you can't depend on the platforms to notify you. If you'd like a quick text reminder and a link to make it easy for you to join me, you can go ahead and sign up for that below. And last but not least, check us out at originatorssuccess.com. I got a story for you, but I'm not going to tell it today because I'm already running long. So, but we're here to help you get loans from Google and social media. My team is the best at that. And I say that, and I mean that. And if there's anyone that thinks that they are better out there, I challenge you to go head to head with my team and they'll kick your ass. So my team is awesome. My folks, and there you go. So anyway, let's say hi to all the live folks. Who do we got here this morning? What is today's big day? Oh, Yasmin, thank you. I appreciate you too. I appreciate you joining me. Joanna, good morning, even though you were watching on a replay somewhere. Mark Clark, good morning. Megan Lindbergh, Mallory Fotiadas, names that I see every morning. Thank you all for joining me. You really do brighten my day. Deb Dickinson, Yasmin, Rob Stewart, great to see all of you. Bill Stevens, I can do that for real, dude. I know you can do that, right? Like a boom. Allison Foy, good morning, Amy Blauser, and Tim Klyla. Ron Siegel said today is National Monte Cristo Day. Isn't that like French toast? What is Monte Cristo? Isn't it like a French toast sandwich? I don't even know what a Monte Cristo is. I know he was like a duke in the 1500s or something, but it's a sandwich, right? A Monte Cristo. I don't eat those. Anyone eat Monte Cristos? Let me know in the comments. Sean Leland, good morning, sir. Chris Burleson, great to have you here as well. If you're here this morning, say good morning. Otherwise, we're going to jump into the other stuff. And somebody, for goodness sakes, before I Google it, tell me what the hell is a Monte Cristo. Karen, good morning. Great to have you here as well. All right, let's go to the other stuff here. And where are my captions? Here we go. So when it comes to rate sheets this morning, actually, we'll start with a quick recap yesterday. Good morning, Monica Dinkins. What happened yesterday? Nothing. A whole lot of nothing. Big nothing burger. Yesterday, mortgage bonds improved just slightly on the day. The smallest of small. When we looked yesterday, mortgage-backed securities, look at this, like no movement at all. Was very much blah. Nothing there kind of at even to talk about. This morning, there's a little bit more to talk about this morning. If I go ahead and here, we'll move this. Let's see if the technology, if everything's playing nice today. Look at that. It is. All right. So if we take a look here, you can see mortgage-backed securities. they're down a few bips. Hey, where's my chat window? Hold on, I lost my chat window. I can't see what you guys are saying. That's because there we go. All right, there it is. So, all right. So anyway, taking a look here, we see this little dip. That was retail sales this morning. We basically rate sheets today are going to be unchanged. Come on, show it. There it goes. Rate sheets today are going to be unchanged. There's really just very small moves. Retail sales data this morning came in a bit hot, but when you pulled back the covers a little bit and took a look at it, it was all online sales and not anything to really worry about here. So retail sales post surprise gain helped by online stores. U.S. retail sales unexpectedly rose in August, supported by online purchases. It masked more mixed results at other merchants. Why is this even a thing? Retail sales is about our economy. And if the economy is doing strong, in theory, that would support the Fed with smaller rate cuts or no rate cuts because, they want to dull the economy. However, the estimate was for it to come in at -2%. It came in at +1%. But the reality was it really didn't come in all that much hotter when you dug a little deeper. So bottom line, it was really not much to talk about anyway. As of this point, reprice risk on the day is low. There's really no reason to expect anything to happen. The 10-year treasury yield, 3.62. That's actually a couple of ticks lower than what it was, earlier. It was 3.64 a few minutes ago. But that's basically like very much where it ended the day yesterday. We're likely to see things flat. Bonds are going to do what they did here. What we saw here yesterday. They're going to go ahead and float through the day. They're going to just kind of, drift, right? It is the calm before the storm. And it will be calm. But hold on. My man Ron Siegel is alerting me on what a Monte Cristo is. A fried ham and cheese sandwich. Dip the bread in eggs like French toast. Great with some raspberry jam. Not good for your diet. Yeah, I would think that actually sounds good. I mean, a ham and cheese sandwich sounds good to me. I knew it had something to do with like French toast because you dip the bread in eggs like French toast. So I don't know if it has syrup on it or not, but anyway, getting back to the other stuff. Thank you, Ron, for answering me. As today is National Monte Cristo Day. Those of you that do that, go and enjoy a Monte Cristo. But reprice risk on the day remains low. Bonds are going to drift through the day. We're not going to see any real fear of repricing today. Whatever pricing you get this morning, very much going to be the case of what you've got. As far as the outlook goes, it very much remains what we've seen, right? Rates should improve, but could be a bit of a rocky ride. I'm still slightly concerned that markets have pivoted and now favor a half-point rate cut over a quarter-point rate cut. When we take a look here, that is still very much the case, right? We went from, remember, it was 85% expectation, 85% probability that we would see a quarter-point cut tomorrow. And that is down to about a third. And 2/3 believe we were going to see a half a point. Now, what happens if we don't get that half a point cut? Are markets going to be disappointed? But one thing that we have to notice is that we have not really seen, let me make this a little bit bigger. So there you go. We have not really seen this difference get into that pivot, get into mortgage rates. Mortgage-backed securities have not really reflected that big change. This changed, on Friday. And on Friday, we were at 3.65 for the 10-year yield. It's 3.63. So even though we've seen a big pivot here, I'm not seeing markets buy that pivot. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense, right? So even though the probabilities are forecasting, so because of this, it makes me a little less concerned that if we don't get the half-point cut, it's almost like markets are like, yeah, we're going to get it, but they haven't put their money where their mouth is. Because when we look at the performance, 10-year treasury yield, mortgage-backed securities, remember, this goes back to Friday. Let me tip this up so that you guys can see it. Right. This goes back to Friday. When we look here at, hold on, there you go. So when we look here, this is today, Tuesday, this is Monday, this is Friday, this is Thursday. We actually, it's not, we want to see mortgage-backed securities go up, right? That's going to improve. But we were, we ended the day on Thursday, the 12th at, 101.40 and we're at 101.60. So it's only 20 basis points that we've really seen that move. And we saw it mainly on Friday right here. You could see this pitch up, right? We saw it on Friday, and on Monday it kind of held steady. So we've seen a small pricing in of it, but not a big pricing in. So I don't think we have to worry too much about that. That's a big thing. So remember, when it comes tomorrow, I mean, the lock advice remains exactly as it has been. Cautiously float anything closing near term, especially on the idea that that you have to be there. Hold on, let's see what Ron has to say here. So Ron says, since the markets believe a half a point is probable, but have not started pricing it in, wouldn't a half a point cut then be reflected in the bond? That's what I'm saying. I think that we would see that, because when you really look back here, 20 basis points, not really that big of a move, especially when you look at Thursday, we had lost ground. We've been up around 101.54, we were here back on the 11th, which was Wednesday, right? So we're really not pricing in a huge increase here. So if we get a half a point, but remember, it's trifecta, right? What are they actually cutting? What are they projecting? And how will the press conference go? There's our three variables. We'll dig deeper. We'll talk about them more tomorrow, but just to touch on them today, what is the actual cut itself? If they do cut larger, I think that we would see a positive reaction to that. Number two is depending on the projection, it's either going to get embraced or blown off. Markets want to believe that we're going to see this happen. And remember, when we go to the charts, the dot plot, right? I mean, the expectation was that we were going to be, look at this. This is one cut. This is two cuts. So we're going to see this whole column drop down again, big time for 2024. But also, we'll need to compare that to the 2025 number. We need to kind of keep that vision out there on where it's going, and where the Fed is going on there, because that's going to come up. So I'll talk more about this tomorrow. Gives you a reason to join me tomorrow before we get to the Fed meeting. But we'll definitely talk more about that. Ron says the half point makes sense. If the 100 bips is a plan for the year and they went 25, 50, 25, the middle 50 would be scary. 50, 25, 25 gives the market more confidence. I do agree. I didn't mean to pop that off. I do agree with that, Ron. So what Ron is pointing out is the idea that we've got 3 meetings left this year. We've got this meeting in September, we have a November meeting, and we have a December meeting. When we look at markets expectations and forecasting on where we're going to be as we get a little bit later into the year and we finish the year, markets are basically, there's about a 40% expectation that will be above at 4.25 or above, right? So 30% that will be at 4.25. That's still a full point. That's 25, 50, 25. Only 7% believe that we would see 3/4 point rate cuts between now and the end of the year. The other expectation here is that we could see deeper cuts. And I mean, 3.75, I think, is just an outlier, but market's really pricing in this idea that we're going to have 2 half-point cuts and a 1/4 point cut. So, Ron, the question becomes, does it go quarter, half, or is it half? And that's what, there was an interesting article. So let's talk about what Wall Street Journal and Nick Timros said about it this morning. Nikki T put in a fresh article this morning. This one you'll see updated September 17th. It came in, at 12:04 this morning, right? So he updated it. This one, the Fed prepares to lower rates with the size of the first cut in doubt. They're definitely leaving the door open for a half a point cut, but they're not committing to it. They're not convincing markets that it's happening yet. And that's really kind of important to know. Is I do think it's going to come down to what they really come down to talk about. Now, I liked in this article, he really kind of hits it towards the end, because this decision this week is a close call. Powell could face at least one dissent on the decision from the 12 policymakers, right? 5 Reserve Bank presidents, 7 Washington-based governors. That's the voting body who vote on policy. No Fed official has voted against a policy decision in 2 years. It's been unanimous for 2 years. Moreover, no Fed governor has dissented on a rate decision since 2005, almost 20 years. So that this week's decision is a close call could reflect honest uncertainty over the right choice, English said. It's not like you have half the committee at 50 and half at 25 and they're shouting at each other. You have a bunch of people who are genuinely uncertain what the right thing to do here is. And I feel like this article, if it is kind of a Fed whisperer moment, if it is a bit of a leak, I think that this is just leaving the door open for that half a point cut. But I think they're really talking about it today. Remember, the Fed meeting started today. It'll conclude tomorrow with all the action. They're really digging deep and they're talking about it. And they're trying to weigh the pros and the cons about the other stuff. Robert said, not trying to push politics, but a 50% in November would make voters feel all warm and fuzzy inside. That would happen though after the election. Though if you notice that November meeting is after the election, it is November 7th. So yeah, no, you're not pushing politics. And guys, I'm not afraid to talk politics. I think that we could talk about politics in a civilized manner. And I don't support either party very strongly. I'm not a party driven guy. I'm a issues driven guy, and I actually see pluses and minuses to both ways. If they, whether it's the Harris administration that would take over and win, or whether it's the Trump administration, I think there's actually things either way. So, but when it comes to the politics of this, they both, one thing that definitely was an interesting thing that I wanted to show you is look at the federal debt compared to where we were, like say in the early 2000s. Look at where we were with, this is publicly held debt as a share of GDP. Okay. Now during World War II, it was as high as where it is right now. It was look at this, back when the only time it was higher than where we are here after COVID. It has been a huge issue. They're projecting it to go up no matter who wins. That's the crazy thing. Now, I hope it doesn't. We don't want to see our debt continue to go up like this. But all of this, again, this all plays a role in it and is definitely something that we would be seeing. So, but as it comes to rates and pricing, y'all, I'll throw it up on the screen one more time. It really comes down to, let me go to straight camera. There you go. We'll put it here. So, anything closing in the next 15 days, you're cautiously floating. We want to float into tomorrow and see what happens. Anything that's not, I wouldn't be locking a single loan today. I'm probably not locking much tomorrow. Overall, we are back into a trend where rates are going to improve. We've seen rates improve. They've improved to about 0.5% over the last 30 days. And just there now, and it's funny that you say half the people are lawyers and half are economists. Need to get the lawyers off the board, go with economists from a more varied part of the economy. Right now, there are no members who have ever signed the front of a paycheck. That might be true. Good morning, Julie Lawrence. So very much the case and very something to see. So, all right, y'all. Well, tomorrow we're going to talk about how could the Fed meeting play out? What'll happen with some of these scenarios? What if they cut a half, but the projections are low? What if they cut a quarter and the projections are higher? What if they cut a half high? What if, what could Powell say at his press conference and what direction? We'll go deeper on some of that this morning. Good morning, Jessica Wells. We'll go deeper on some of that tomorrow and see where we go. But as far as today goes, it's going to be a real quiet day. Definitely not locking anything, y'all. Can't say it enough. Staying on it super, super hard. I would not be locking anything. Ron has a good point that we can expect the market to overreact tomorrow. The market always overreacts in all directions. And yeah, I think we'll see that during the press conference. We'll talk more about how could the market react tomorrow, what'll happen with rates. So hopefully y'all have a reason to join me. Thanks, Mr. Avila. Appreciate you, sir. And hope you all have a fantastic day. I'll see everybody tomorrow. Bye-bye.